Smoochy smooch. Hello, everybody. We're live.
All right. Well, that was a little sooner than expected.
It'll be fine. Hello, everybody.
All right. So, welcome everybody to episode 63 of the NFL edition. I am one of your two hosts for tonight. As you can see, there's only the two of us on the screen. I'm Alex Loosemore. To my right, my left, your guys' right is Marty McKnight. How are you doing, Marty?
Doing pretty good. Talking football and drinking beer.
All right. So, yeah, it's just us two tonight. Johnny's in the back playing producer tonight. We'll see if that's just tonight or next week, too. We'll kind of figure that out as we go. All right. So, as you can see on the bottom, we'll go through our weekly news as we always do. We'll give you live game update, just kind of scores every now and then of the Bears and Seahawks. I feel like it's going to be a snooze fest. It's two of the worst teams in the NFL. Sometimes those games are kind of fun to watch, though. We'll talk the NFL top 100 list. They announced 151. We'll go through each player, kind of 5-10 at a time, see what we agree and disagree with, and we will go there. I just saw Johnny's message in the background. And then we've got, obviously, the Deshaun Watson settlement. We've got our weekly Bucs talk, and then I'll do a quick Hard Knocks review of episode 2 at the end. Sorry, I'm just going to send Johnny a message here. I know this is great radio.
Sorry, but your show has been interrupted. Please stand by.
All right. Yeah. See if
we needed a Jeopardy theme on that one.
Yeah. All right. So we'll start off with the news as we always do. You're gonna leave, obviously, like I said, the Deshaun Watson talk for later, and some of the Bucs news for later on as well in that Bucs talk segment. So we'll start in Indianapolis, where Colts owner Jim Irsay believes that they have another Super Bowl title in them. Well, possibly with Matt Ryan under center. I kind of agree. I feel like they were a quarterback away, and as long as you get the Matt Ryan that they've had in Atlanta the last few years, I think that puts you right in contention with Jonathan Taylor, with that offensive line, that defense. If you can get something out of these receivers, which I think with Michael Pittman and Alec Pierce, you absolutely can. I feel like they're in a pretty good spot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as long as, what's his name, Taylor? Jonathan Taylor? Yeah, as long as he stays healthy, they're going to be a good 10, 11 win ball game. And that running game is going to go a long ways to take heat off of Matt Ryan. And he's a veteran quarterback, so he knows how to take care of the ball. He's never been a below average. He is, if I remember correctly, didn't he win an MVP?
Yeah, in 2016, I think, yeah.
Yeah, so
he year.
Yeah, he's definitely he can get the job done. It's just, in my opinion, the defensive line, offensive line, if it stays intact and kind of avoid some key injuries, they're going to be right there.
Absolutely. And the one issue there is the only weak spot on that offensive line is that left tackle, Matt Ryan's blind side. You're either relying on one of their backup guards that slid to tackle this offseason, or Bernard Raymond, who's like a second or third round pick. So you're kind of relying on one of these guys to hold down the fort, but
kind of got a little drop off there.
Yeah, absolutely. For as much slack as Eric Fisher catches, he was pretty damn good last year for them. We're going to stay in the AFC South. We're going to move to Jacksonville. James Robinson, I believe, tore his Achilles last year, missed pretty much the entire season. When asked about it, they said that they expect him to play week 1 versus the Commanders. It sounds like he's on track and ready to go to play Washington there.
Doesn't surprise me. I mean, you see these athletes, how they like medicine is advanced and surgery stuff. They're coming back from injuries months earlier, and sometimes like sorry to say the B word there, baseball, like pitchers can come back almost a season earlier. Yeah. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
The one thing for me is and this is kind of like a fantasy football aspect of it, this is going to do wonders for Trevor Lawrence because now he's got the comfortability with Travis Etienne, who he obviously played in college with, but he's now got James Robinson as well to kind of be that beefier running back between the tackles, your goal line guy, your heavy power run game. So I think this only helps Trevor Lawrence.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I mean, as much as the much help you can get the kid. I call him a kid because he's still pretty young.
Yeah.
To get his confidence and stuff up, you need to build around him and more key players. If they're not major key, just key players, that's going to build his confidence up for his development. Because right now, I mean, from last year, I feel like he's going to take a big step forward from last year.
I do too. I think it's also kind of hard to be worse than he was last year, throwing all those interceptions, and
but
now
he doesn't have
some help.
Yeah, he's got a good coaching staff now. It's not Urban Meyer too busy, kicking kickers or stuff like that in practice.
Yeah, better coach, better weapons, better offensive line. The defense is a little worse in my opinion, but they should be able to make do, I think. And when we're talking the expectations for Jacksonville, remember this is probably only like a 6-7 win team. They're still definitely third in that division, but it's definitely a step in the right direction there in Jacksonville.
I feel like probably 6, 7. Maybe it might, but I think about 6. That's a safe number.
Yeah, Jacksonville always steals one of those games every year, though, that they shouldn't. Remember, they beat Buffalo last year in like a 9-6 game. So they're probably going to steal a couple that they shouldn't win and maybe lose 1 or 2 that they shouldn't lose. But that's the NFL, though. That happens all the time. Ben Cornett tuning in says, "What's up, fellas? Thanks for tuning in, man." We also gave Ben the week off. So enjoy it, dude. All right, now we're going to move.
Enjoy your vacation, Ben.
Yeah. Now we're going to move all the way across the country. We're going to L.A. Defending Super Bowl champion quarterback Matthew Stafford is right on track, supposedly, for the season opener after dealing with the elbow tendonitis in his throwing arm. I wasn't worried at all. I mean, the guy's played with basically a broken neck and destroyed his shoulder, separated his shoulder, and a play later came back out and threw a touchdown in like his rookie season. So, yeah, I had no worries at all about Matthew Stafford. The guy will play through a ton of pain. So the fact that they're right on track there is very good for the Rams. Ben says 6-11 is a fair record for the Jags. He says he will enjoy. Christopher Cole, thank you for tuning in. Says, what does Derwent James's contract mean for Winfield Jr.? It just means the safety market's going to keep climbing. The one for me, or the point for me is, I don't know that you guys are going to be able to keep him long term. Is like if he's asking for money to beat Derwent James's contract, then you guys are in trouble. You're losing him because you won't be able to afford him. So you guys better hope he takes you better hope he takes a hometown discount because that's a very good player that you don't want to lose. But that's the risk you take when you pay some of these guys like Godwin and keep some of these guys in-house. Is not everyone can get paid.
Come on, internet. Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, I couldn't quite make out what you're saying, but yeah, if the thing is with Winfield, if we can get through the contract, that's kind of like Brady with the voided contract. Once he retires, we're going to have a cap hit from kicking the can down the road. Eventually, that will catch up to us. But if we can actually have him franchise tag, maybe for a season or two, when after his rookie deal runs out, we may have a chance to re-sign him because the salary cap is supposed to go up after this season and again next season. There's a chance, but we probably going to have to franchise tag him for at least one season.
I agree with that, and I think the only way you're going to keep him long-term is if the owner's willing to shell enough money out of pocket, because then remember that signing bonus comes right out of pocket, and then it's just prorated over the entirety of the contract. So you can pay him more upfront in that signing bonus and then less in the actual salary. And then it's that cap. So say a 5-year contract, the signing bonus is divided over the 5 years. And then you just add that salary in, right? So I think that's what's going to happen there.
I mean, I can definitely see Winfield being the highest paid safety in a couple seasons. I can see that. You know, when his deal is up, I can see him wanting to be the highest paid safety. He's got the potential to be a superstar.
How long? Godwin signed for 4 years, right?
3 years.
3 years?
He signed a 3-year. Yeah, he signed a 3-year deal.
And then Winfield Jr., that was his second season, correct? Rookie season was the Deuces?
Yes, sir, it was. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So yes, this is his 3rd season. So he's got next year and then next season, and then they're going to pick up the option. So he's got at least this season.
He doesn't have the option. No, he doesn't have the option. Only first-round picks get the option.
Okay, so we got him for this year.
After
next year, we're going to have to franchise tag him.
Yeah, I think so. You're going to have a year, Ben, where you'd have both Godwin and Winfield would have to be paid that last year of Godwin's deal.
Then we got Devin White, too. We got to find. I mean, he's coming up pretty soon. We got to re-sign.
And Worse is going to be up fairly soon. And, like, that's the issue when you draft so well and you've got all these big contracts is you got to find a way to pay all these players.
Yep.
And it makes it kind of difficult.
And you got all these contracts, voided years and stuff that's going to catch up to you once the player retires or no longer on the roster.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to pay a bunch of players when they're not on your team. So only a few voided contracts should be there.
But a lot of teams did that in COVID in 2020 and last season. Yeah. So it's not like we're the only team that did. I mean, look at the Saints. I mean, they cleared out $70-something million in cap space by voiding contracts and years that eventually it's going to catch up to them. So it's like who did the least damage is going to be able to give these players their money. And we got some extremely good, smart people in the front office that knows how to play with the salary cap.
Yeah. And every team, well, basically every team was doing it. You're absolutely right. Most of the contending teams were doing it. So, yeah, obviously, Bucs, Saints, Rams, the Browns just did it. Like
probably Bills.
Yeah. I would say most of that Von Miller contract was probably voided. So.
And they're going to probably this upcoming season, or I only see Von Miller probably being with the Bills maybe this season, maybe next season. And if as soon as he, retires or gets released or something, the Bills going to have a little chunk of change they got to eat up.
Well, here's the problem with that too. If you release him, then all those voided years are gone, and everything has to be paid up front. So that's the problem when you sign a guy to 6 years. That's that old. Like,
yeah, and then another player was I forgot to mention about the Bucs. They was talking about Mike Evans. I think he's got 2 more years on his contract, not counting this season. I believe it's 2 more years after this. I mean, Mike's good about taking pay cuts, but I mean, you got to eventually pay the man.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And if we sign him to a new long-term deal, that would help us out in the present for the cap.
Yeah.
But he's got to be also my main priority is Evans.
Absolutely. A guy that's done so right by you the entire way, you got to take care of a player like that.
We as Bucs fans, now I feel like a lot of people probably in the front office, they want him to retire in a Bucs uniform. He cannot go somewhere else.
Yeah. I kind of agree with Ben here. He says, I believe Devin White needs to have a big year stat-wise to get the long-term extension. They'll pick up his option for 2023, but after that, it'll depend on how he does. He's solid, but could be better. Absolutely, and when you look at it as the number 5 pick in that draft, you expect a little bit better. I mean, the guy still plays very well, but I definitely expect a little bit better from him.
He needs to take a deep breath. The year 2020, he played phenomenal. He had a couple off games, but he actually, when it came crunch time and playoffs, Super Bowl, big gains in the regular season, he showed up. Last year, he just seemed like he wanted to do too much at one time. He was like a deer in the headlight at some games and some plays. He needs to take a deep breath and actually just kind of don't think you have to do everything on the same play. I mean, be yourself a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and a guy he's smart enough to read the play as it's coming, and he's freakishly athletic and got all the talent in the world. You're absolutely right. Just sit back, determine what's happening, and go make your play.
Yeah.
And you just do that, you'll be one of the best linebackers in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
It's as simple as that.
Exactly. You just take a deep breath. Quit doing too much. Just do what you did in 2020. Be Devin White. Don't try to be Derek Brooks and stuff because you're not Derek Brooks. Just be Devin White.
Yeah, absolutely. Corey says Carl Nassib is back. Also, that was actually going to be the next thing I brought up was Carl Nassib signing with the Bucs. I really like that signing.
I do too.
It's going to give a push for Tryon Shoyinka and Shaq Barrett, and it's going to give these guys a breather when they need out because you can't play two edge rushers the entire game. They're not going to be effective come the fourth quarter.
No, he can show when he was with the Bucs in 2019, he can show that in the right system, he can be solid. Not a superstar, but solid. And that's what we need right now is a rotational player that's solid and will hold his ground. And he is more than proven. I'm actually hoping we might sign him. I feel like he's going to do an awesome job this year. I think he's going to end up maybe with 7 sacks, maybe 7.5. But that's still solid enough where I feel like it. I mean, with the Bucs, his last year with the Bucs, 2019, he got 6.5. Well, you got Shaq Barrett here, so you're going to get opportunities. You're not going to be double teamed and stuff like that. I feel like he can get 7, maybe 7 and 7.5 sacks and have a solid season. I'm hoping maybe he can get maybe a 2-3 year deal out of it and stay in Tampa. I really like the guy. He was a very good, solid edge rusher.
Yeah, I really like the fit here. The sack number for me is going to depend on how much he plays because we got to see how he fits into this rotation. Like Corey said here, we've got Anthony Nelson. He didn't even put JTS in there. The young guy that from the outside looking in, I feel like that guy still needs to, he still definitely needs to improve. But he needs to take that step to where he can take more of that playing time on the field.
Yeah, and he showed promise. And I think even in the preseason game, I believe he had a sack. I think. Don't hold me to that. I think he did. It may be someone else I'm thinking about, but he showed some promise.
Yeah.
The only one, in my opinion, their edge rushers that hasn't shown anything is Joe Tryon. I'm not seeing anything. What I've looked on from the game and stuff, he's not pushing the pocket. He's just got that one speed.
He's too light. He's too light. That's all it is.
He doesn't have a spin move. He doesn't have any. It's like just try to outrun this guy. And that's not going to get you very far in the NFL.
Well, and that was the same issue I had kind of comparing it to another player that just came into the league. That's an issue I had with Kayvon Thibodeau in the draft. It's a very, very good speed move. You're in the NFL for a reason, and that move was deadly. But it's the NFL. You're playing the best of the best week in and week out. You got to have a counter to their counter to your original move. Mm-hmm. You've got to have 3, 4, 5 moves ready to go, at least.
They say in the NFL speed kills. Sometimes that's not always the case. Speed, if you're an edge rusher.
In the trenches, speed gets killed. That's what it is. Like, if you're playing a good offensive line, they'll love that you're a speed rusher because they'll just run on your hip and ride you all the way around the quarterback, and the quarterback just gets to step into that spot. That's a win for the offense right there.
Joe Tryon kind of reminds me of and rest in peace. I had a lot of respect for this player. Is Gaines Adams that we drafted. I can't remember what year that was. I think maybe 07, 08 maybe. But he reminds me a lot of
before 08. It was like 07, 06, something like that.
yeah, he reminds me a lot of Gaines Adams. He like just didn't really have any kind of special moves, but he had blazing speed, but he just could not really put it together on the football field because speed as an edge rusher gets you killed. It doesn't put extra food on the table and extra money in your wallet. It gets you killed. You got to develop your skills like a Michael Strahan and stuff. You got to bully. You got to bully your opponent out of your way to get to that quarterback.
Yeah. Just going to catch up on some of the comments here. Christopher Cole said White is showing out in training camp. I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen too much. I've heard a lot of the bad, which worries me. But it's good to see that White's showing out in training camp. Jason says, "Hi boys, where are the two other sides to this 4-piece meal? They're taking the week off. Johnny's in the back playing producer, and Ben's on vacation."
The man's in Hawaii. He's loving his vacation. Not Hawaii, Las Vegas. Vegas, excuse me.
Yeah. Ben says Carl Nassib, in my opinion, is a steal for us in free agency. Our linebacker core is thin right now, and we definitely needed to fill that depth. 100%.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Christopher says Nassib will get 4 or 5 sacks. I was kind of in that 5 range as well. Just a rotational pass rusher. It's hard to get more than that, but we'll see what he does. And again, like I said, it's going to depend on how many reps he gets.
Yeah, if Barrett kind of goes down, that's another thing Shaq Barrett's kind of had an issue with here last season and a half is being durable. He's kind of missing some games, but I mean, it just kind of comes with the position he plays. So that's why I'm like saying he could get 7 sacks.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Chris says Tryon Shoyank hasn't played in the preseason game yet. Okay, yeah. Like I said, I haven't seen too much, so glad to know he wasn't in the game and sitting out instead of just being in there and being a ghost. Jason says, "Holy shake and bake! I saw our Bucs sign Carl Nassib." Like, yeah, totally. Yeah,
nice.
Producer Johnny says Nassib was a great pickup, and at the cost, it helps bring in someone on the someone to help the O sidelines. Yeah. By the way, I doubt you guys are getting J.C. Treader at this point with the other signings you've had and the other centers that have gone down in the NFL. I think he's a lost cause.
Yeah. I don't know how much money we got left to spend. It's not very much.
Yeah, I have no idea.
It's like, hey, we'll give you $100 bill, a Coke can, and some ramen noodles. Can you play center for us, please?
Yeah, basically. Johnny says Vegas Vacation sounds like a movie. It's kind of
Vegas Ben.
Speaking of Vegas Ben, said Worst got hurt today. They say it was a core injury. Greg Auman of The Athletic said it's a strained oblique. That's like a 3 to 4 week recovery time if that's the case. You better hope it's a little bit quicker than that, because if he's not ready for Dallas,
it's going to be rough.
It's
going to be rough.
Yeah.
I'm hoping this is like a 2. I think if it's 3 weeks, he might be back for the opening game, maybe. But
you'd be cutting it close.
I'm hoping, like Alex, I'm agreeing with you on this. I'm hoping it's like a 2 week, even if it's 2.5 weeks. We need him badly right now.
Yeah. Even if honestly he's just healthy enough to go in the game and doesn't practice or anything, that's better than what you guys have behind him. So
that's better not having him at all, because I think it was against the Rams. We did not have him in that playoff game, and we got our butts kicked on that side of the line.
Yeah. Johnny says Nassib had 6.5 sacks, a rotation player both seasons he played with us before. Yeah, and like I said, it's just we got to see how many snaps he's going to play.
Nope, exactly.
Baraka Pollard, BA, thank you for tuning in, says glad Nassib is back. I agree with this last part. I just wish people wouldn't be so inconsiderate and keep bringing up the gay jokes. Move on, people. Like, get over it. He's a football player. Okay, let's look past all the other stuff. This guy is getting paid to play football in the NFL. Let's judge him for how he plays football in the NFL. Okay, leave the rest of it alone.
You don't judge someone by their looks or their beliefs and stuff. Judge them as who they are, and he's a damn good football player.
Yeah, I have no patience for that kind of stuff. Just pay attention to how he does his job and leave it at that. He was just correcting the 6.5 from the question mark to the slash. Alec, thank you for tuning in. Says, hey guys, how's it going, Alec?
Hello.
Johnny said, thank God, to the 3-4 week injury. Yeah, because if that was season ending, you guys were in a lot of trouble, especially with Dwayne Brown now being off the free agency block.
If he's out for the season, there'll be a lot of Buccaneer fans lining up at the liquor store.
Yeah. Jenny Denver says, what up? Thank you for tuning in. How's it going, Jenny?
What's up?
Corey said, Levante David needs to show up this season. 22-23 could be the very last season, then retirement probably in 23. Yeah.
I can see that.
It's hard to say with a lot of these guys because they're still playing at such a high level. Like, it's hard to see when they're going to walk away.
But I've noticed Levante David late last season to the playoff game. I can see that high level is not there anymore. You can see he's starting to decrease a little bit. So this year's going to be a...
Oh, sorry. Finish what you were saying.
I was about to say, I think this year is going to be a telltale sign if he's really fixing to start falling off or slowly start to take a few steps back. Yeah. You can only play in a high level for so many years. I mean, you're not, unless you're Tom Brady. He's starting to wear down a little bit.
Yeah, for the playoff game, just again from the outside looking in, it looked a lot more like Levante was kind of in the same boat as what we were saying about Devin White. If you watched, a lot of it was he was trying to get after teammates, trying to get like, okay, guys, come on, let's go. Let's stop these guys. We can do it. Paying attention more to trying to get everyone else rolling instead of doing his job.
Yeah, exactly.
That takes away a lot of your skill when you have to pay attention to what everyone else is doing.
Exactly. So like just do the Patriot thing. Do your job.
Absolutely.
And everything.
And a lot of these guys if they do their job, a lot of these teams could be Super Bowl contenders.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason there's very few contenders every year is because there's very few teams that have the talent and the ability for those players to focus on what their job is. It's few and far between in the NFL, which is kind of surprising.
I mean, that's why Bill Belichick's still coach in New England for so many years. I mean, that's what he preaches, do your job. And if you don't do your job, they will find someone to do your job.
Yeah. Johnny says, hey, Jen. Jason says, yeah, Bodacious Ben and Juicy Johnny are joining the comment section too. Oh, yeah, they'll be in here all night. Jenny says, hey, Pops. Alex says, hey, Johnny. Ben says, 100% on Nassib. Johnny says, when are you going to let us train you up, Jenny? Ben says, I'd give Levante 2 to 3 more years to play tops. Yeah, I'm kind of in that 3 is where I'm at personally, but again, I'm not seeing as much as what you guys are. So I kind of lean on you guys when it comes to the Bucs stuff.
I think this season, next season could be his last.
Yeah. And this was another thing too with that playoff game is Levante was playing injured. So there
was a couple games. I was about to say there was a couple games in the regular season that he was starting to show a little bit of wear and tear, and just basically it's just not keeping up with the younger guys. I mean, it's hard to do that, but it's just you can start to see he's starting to slowly decline a little bit. Not a major drop off. I mean, it could be this season. I hope not, but he was starting to slowly decline a little bit.
Yeah. Jenny says, I'm ready, but nervous, Pops. Alec said, where's this Ben Dude at? He's taking the week off. He'll possibly be back next week. We'll figure that out when we get ready to do the show next week.
Right.
Johnny says, no need to be nervous. We'll take care of you. Your mother would kill me if we didn't. Yeah, if you're on here, we'll absolutely take care of you. Ben says, bodacious Ben. What the fuck? That's kind of what I was feeling.
Bodacious Ben. Mm-hmm.
Johnny says, Ben's on YouTube. Yeah. Alex said, is he doing his sideshow? I don't know. That's a question for Ben personally. All right. Now that we're all caught up on the... Oh, and as I was saying, we're caught up. There's another comment. Levante did drop lots of turnovers. Missed a pickoff. Yeah. That happens, though. Especially linebackers.
Yeah, it happens to a lot of players.
Yeah. A lot of players drop interceptions. If every ball of the DBs and linebackers touched was a pick, quarterbacks would throw like 40, 50 picks every year.
Exactly.
And a lot of them throw 15 to 20. So
there's a reason they're
on YouTube.
There's a reason they're on defense and not offense. There's a reason to it.
Yeah. Now some of them is just they like to hit, but
true, like Ray Lewis and John Lynch and Reed, stuff like that.
Yeah. All right. So bring it back to the news here. Joe Burrow's ramping up activities again in practice following that appendectomy. He's trying to put on that weight that he lost due to the surgery and all that kind of stuff there. So he's hoping to be ready to go for week 1.
Get that man some Burger King. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
Smoke him a cigar of a Whopper.
Yeah. The Hall of Fame finalist lists are starting to come together. The senior finalists were announced, I believe, yesterday. It is Chuck Howley, Joe Klecko, and Ken Riley. I know very little on these guys, if I'm being honest. But obviously, they deserve to be here. So,
I would love to play stupid. Like, I know every one of them. Well, I'm like you right now. Like, Google. So yeah. So if they're on the finalist, then one of them definitely needs to be in.
Yeah. I know Klecko was a defensive lineman in like the 70s or 80s. That's as far as I know. But the other two, I have no idea on. Just one thing here. Corey, we are going to get to Deshaun Watson in a little bit here. Yeah, they're going to struggle without Deshaun Watson. That's unless they go get Jimmy G. That's my prediction. And Jason said, how about I be your sideshow, Alec? Alex said, get Barber in the Hall of Fame. We will get to that. Those were just the senior finalists. So we'll get the actual finalist list in a few weeks.
Yeah.
I think the coaches finalists come out next week, and then I think the week after that, the actual player finalists, like the modern era finalists, come out. So give it a couple weeks, and we'll know all the finalists, and then we can actually go ahead and make our list from there. It says, this is a little off subject. I'm ready for the after Tom Brady life of us having a mobile quarterback. Trask. Meanwhile, Tom can stay as long as he wants.
Trask still needs a little more time to develop, so I would not rush Brady out the door. But he's starting to show promise, but be happy what you got now. I mean,
yeah.
Right now, we're Super Bowl contenders right now with Brady. Trask, if he's our starting quarterback, we are like maybe 6th seed, 7th seed, barely in the conversation of being in playoffs.
Yeah, in a weak NFC right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Enjoy the GOAT while you have him.
Enjoy this. I mean, if you're a longtime Buccaneer fan, like a lot of us, like me and Johnny and Ben and stuff, we know we know the pain. So enjoy this. It doesn't last long.
Yeah. Coming from the Lions' perspective, that's why I'm glad we had Stafford as long as we did, because it made games entertaining. I mean, going from Joey Harrington, Dan Orlovsky, John Kitna, Drew Stanton, all these guys, to Stafford for so long, and now we're Goff, Tim Boyle, and David Blau. It's kind of like I miss Stafford. Like,
Alex is probably that meme on Facebook. It's got like Wolverine is showing a picture, or he's like looking at a picture on his bed, and that's probably Alex looking at a picture of Stafford in a Lions uniform, like once a week.
I kid you not, I literally had a card come in yesterday, and it's a Stafford card.
Probably a tear came down your eye. Yeah, probably a tear came down your eyes. Like, I miss him. I wonder if he misses us.
No, I was glad to see him go get his Super Bowl.
Yeah, he's been a good player. I mean, just a all-rounded good personality, good teammate. So I'm glad to see people like that to get a ring.
Absolutely. Oh, Ben said you're a football encyclopedia, Alex. You should know these players. Yeah, I know. I'm kind of mad at myself, honestly, for not knowing these guys because most of the other players I do know. But it is what it is. Not too much I can change there.
I have an excuse. I'm a dumb redneck that likes beer. I didn't know these people, so I have an excuse. I'm a redneck, so sorry.
Well, and it's hard for me because like I see Joe Klecko, and I think of the guy that's probably his son, Dan Klecko, who was a defensive tackle in the NFL from like mid 2000s to like 2011, 2012. So, and that guy was just an average NFL player. Like it wasn't like he was anything special, but that name just rings a bell for me for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Maybe video games or what, but for some reason Madden. I remember that name.
Madden.
Yeah. Speaking of which, that just came out this week. If you're on the old generation consoles, the PS4 and the Xbox Ones, it's the exact same game as last year with a few minor changes.
Is it
the next gen consoles? It supposedly quite a bit different, but
my copy I had last year had Brady on the cover. My lovely Husky decided to chew it into 1,000 pieces and punch holes in the disc.
No!
The only Madden that a Buccaneer player is on the cover, the Husky had to turn it into Swiss cheese.
Oh no! Every year I get it, and then I say, "Why the hell do I buy this game? I'm not buying it next year." And then it comes around, and it's like, "Oh, Madden came out," and I buy it. Like
I had to get Brady on the Bucs on the cover. I had to.
Yeah. Chris says my nephew had his first few high school football workouts, and he'll get his pads Monday and do drills. Nice. Like,
good job.
I miss this time of year as a player when you're like just getting back into the swing of things. I literally went back this week at work, and I mean, I shouldn't have said while I was at work, but I watched some of my old games when I had a bit of time. I went back and watched some of my old film and all that, and kind of brought back some of those days. So
you're gonna show up to like a homecoming game at your high school and be like, before they kick off the second half, you're just gonna run on the field with your pads and your old jersey, like I can still do this. Let's go! And just like run across the field.
Let me.
Like I'm here to hit somebody.
Oh yeah, but yeah. Chris, tell your nephew to enjoy it, man. That high school football was some of the most fun I've ever had. Like I played past high school, and I miss that part, but I don't. I genuinely really miss high school football. There was just a whole different aspect to it.
A lot of innocence. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Jason said, Ben, did you say Alex has chlamydia? Oh, man, if that's the case, I'm not sitting on that lap and telling him what I want for Christmas. Oh, Jason's bringing it tonight. Johnny in the background playing producer says, man, this is so much fun. I bet. Going back a little bit, Corey said Hester in the Hall of Fame. I personally, and this is no bias because he was on the Bears or anything, I still think he's got to wait a little bit. Based on all those players that are still available, I think he's got to wait. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah. I think you got players like Rondé Barber that needs to go in way before Hester does.
Yeah. And you've got, like, look at some of the first ballot players that are coming in now. You've got Joe Thomas. You've got Darrell Revis. You still have Andre Johnson, Reggie Wayne, Torrey Holt, Hines Ward. Like, there's so many very good players.
Yeah, Hines Ward needs to be in before Devin Hester as well. I mean, he's going to have to wait at least, I think, 2024, 2025, he finally gets in the Hall of Fame.
Well, and don't get me wrong, Johnny, if this is for Hester, he is a Hall of Famer, and he should get in as kick returner, not wide receiver. Because if you put him in as a returner, he's a first ballot, honestly. But when it's wide receiver / returner, you got to look at what he did as a wide receiver, too. And there was not that much there, unfortunately. So, Alex said, I love David Blau's wife. Yeah, he did very well there if you watch Hard Knocks. An Olympic sprinter, and she's very good looking. Corey says, NFL Madden game, cover all 32 teams, will get cursed. Knowing John Madden's on the cover or no cover at all. Johnny said, I really don't care, just wanted Alex to rant, damn it. You almost had a Hall of Fame rant out of me a few weeks ago when we were arguing about Darrelle Revis. You almost had one out of me there. Ben says, I caught a few minutes of the Bears-Seahawks game, and the Seahawks rookie left tackle Charles Cross is looking pretty good so far. How much are they passing the ball? Because he's a very, borderline elite run blocker already, but the pass blocking for him has been pretty piss poor lately. So, and we knew that coming out of college. I just went to go look for the score, so thank you, Johnny. 24-0 for the Bears, 10 minutes left in the third quarter.
Thanks, Johnny.
They are whooping their ass. All right, back to the news here. So we already kind of spoke on this a little bit earlier, talking Winfield Jr., but Derwent James signed a 4-year, $76.5 million extension with the Chargers. It's very risky for the Chargers because he's injury prone. He gets banged up all the time. I mean, if you look at his games played, he's played most of the games in his career. But, his first year and this last year, he played 31 of the 32 games. Or 33 games, I guess, because 17 games now. But he missed an entire season, and then the other of the two middle seasons, he played 6 games. So, it's kind of hit and miss there. But when he's on the field, he's one of the best safeties in the NFL.
Yeah, I hope there's something in the contract where if he keeps on missing games, if he's got to be released, there's got to be something where he's not getting all that fully guaranteed because he hasn't showed. He showed he's a damn good player, but he hasn't showed that he's actually going to be there week in and week out.
Yeah, and it'll all come down to what the verbiage is in that contract.
Mm-hmm.
Ben said, not bad on the pass blocking, although it's the first time I've seen him play. Yeah, if his pass blocking was better, he was the top left tackle in this draft above Evan Neal and Ike Ekwonu. It was just that pass blocking was, they ran 500 times this season in college. So you had all that run blocking on tape that was very, very good. And then you had a little bit of pass blocking. So it was a little difficult to get a real read on his pass blocking. Christopher says Seattle is just awful. Yeah, I think they're right up at the top of the draft this year. Both these teams, as Johnny said.
So they're going to be a dumpster fire or just a flaming ball of garbage. I mean, it's tank bowl. If preseason had a tank bowl, this would be it.
Yeah.
Who honestly tanks harder? Who sucks less?
I think when I did my schedule prediction here about a week ago, this would have been the first and the fourth pick or something like that, fourth or fifth pick. Spoiler, the team that's whooping ass right now I had as the first pick. But they were all, I think it was 4 or 5 teams with 2 to 4 wins. So.
And spoiler to everybody, also Alex, on the 32nd pick, he's got the Lions at the 32nd pick.
I don't actually. Well, technically,
I'll see if you caught that joke. Why I said the 32nd pick?
Yeah. That would be the Bears again. Bears again.
No. Is it 31 teams? Right? Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, it's 32 teams, but the Dolphins lost their 1 draft pick. So there'll be 31 picks in the first round this year.
Okay, so the Lions will be picking at 31.
I think the Lions were picking at 13 and 30. I actually have the Bills beating the Rams in the Super Bowl as my prediction. I think that's the first and last game of the season. So, Ben said, agreed, Alex. If Derwent was always healthy, then he's worth that deal, but he's not yet, in my opinion. Yeah, that's absolutely how I feel. That's the perfect way to describe it. Ben said, I'm surprised they put this game on national TV. Yeah, with it being the only game on Thursday, I guess that kind of makes sense. But otherwise, what the hell were they thinking? This should not have been. This should have been one of those games last week that didn't see TV. Honestly, that's what it should have been.
Thursday night garbage bowl.
Yeah, fuck, no kidding. Yeah, Johnny said, "Screw the Rams, Alex." Hashtag Go Bucs. That was my. Well, and see, here's the thing: is I've done two predictions so far. I had the Bucs in the first one, the Rams in the second one. That game's literally a coin toss for me. That's been my NFC Championship both times, and I kid you not, I've literally tossed a coin both times. That's just what it worked out to. So I think it goes either way.
I'm going Bucs. I'm still bitter on the playoff loss. I'm sorry. I'm not going to get over that anytime soon.
It's hard to go against Brady. It really is.
Especially we're still loaded on offense.
All right, this slid right into the perfect spot for the news there. So, if you guys didn't see it, Aaron Rodgers absolutely put his receivers on blast. Marty, take it away.
All right, hold on. You was breaking up. Would you like to? All right, it's all on me right now. All right, hold on.
Yep, it's all you. Tell us what you think about Aaron Rodgers putting his receivers on blast.
So, yeah, he blasts his wide receivers for not running the correct routes and dropping the balls. Okay. Hey, Aaron, listen to me. You want to know how you can actually have successful teammates on your team? Be a fucking leader. If you can take pay cuts to bring in better players, that's going to have better talent. All the great leaders and GOATs of every league does not call out their players or their coaches to the media to look like a diva. They keep it in-house and in the locker room to actually work out their differences. They don't go to the media to act like freaking Britney Spears and start complaining. It's like, oh, by the way, if I lose this year, I'm letting you know ahead of time. It's their fault. It's not mine. It's their fault. Be the leader. Keep your mouth shut. If you want to help the Green Bay Packers, take a pay cut. You know good and damn well when you took that massive deal that Devontae Adams was not coming back. So you're stuck with basically bottom of the barrel, scraping the barrel wide receivers until they drafted you some. They're learning. Take a book out of all the great athletes of our generation, Joe Montana, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan. If you got issues, take it up to behind closed doors and talk to either the management, the owner, whatever. Do not go to the media and act like a freaking juvenile teenage girl. This is just, you want to call yourself a superstar and a Pro Bowler, and all you're showing as you're a whiny little, and that's all I'm gonna say on that. Exactly. Like, shut up, Aaron. If you're unhappy about it, look at yourself. Go look at your mirror. Go look in the mirror and be like, this is partly my fault. I'm not being team friendly, but I will certainly throw them under the bus when I don't get my way. So either shut up, Aaron Rodgers, or go to another team, or just deal with it because you caused this to yourself. You helped put the Packers in a financial bind, a stranglehold until your ass finally retires. So keep your mouth shut and quit making fun of rookies that's doing their damn best. So have you ever heard Brady throw his wide receivers under the bus? He keeps it in-house and private. Aaron, if you want to be a superstar, keep your damn mouth shut.
I mean, think about this. When it comes to that Brady-Rodgers comparison, what was the joke everyone made about Brady and his wide receivers in New England? They made the joke that these guys were bagging groceries the week before, and some of them were becoming Super Bowl MVPs.
Yeah, so, because Brady can take them under their wing. He doesn't throw them on the bus. He doesn't. If the Packers bring in someone like that, it gives Aaron Rodgers, he thinks in his mindset, oh my God, that is an automatic pass. If we lose, That's going to be the problem. It's not me. It's not my attitude. It's not the contract. It's their problem. Brady's like, I will teach you how to win. You're like, I will lead you to a better, contract. Follow me. I am a leader. Aaron Rodgers is like, this is all about me. Oh, if they suck, well, it's their fault. Not me. It's them.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes it hard to watch them. And I think back to the playoff game, their last game that they've played. That first drive they had was picture perfect. Everything was going exactly how it needed to. Right spot, right time. Ball came out on time. Blocking was perfect. They were opening holes for the running game. Then it gets to third down near the end or near the red zone, and Rodgers throws the ball to Lazard and he drops it. And then Rodgers is in his head the rest of the game. And the offense can't do shit. And you end up, those 3 points are your only points of the game. Like, it makes it hard. Yeah, I agree.
Yes, I still think Brett Favre. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say Brett Favre is the better player. Aaron Rodgers, to me, is still probably top 3 of the most talented players of all time. Best throwers, best throw on the run. Those Hail Mary throws he had in the mid 2010s there. He's arguably the most talented thrower of the ball. But if you're talking greatness, Favre is better. Rodgers is way down the list.
Favre is better than Rodgers because Favre will go to battle with you and not throw you under the bus. Yes, he was a diva, and it was against ownership of and his later couple seasons, he was a diva. But he never really threw teammates under the bus. Aaron Rodgers looks for that so he can use that as an excuse every season. Favre is like, we win together or we're going to lose together, but he doesn't try to throw people under the bus.
Let me ask everyone this, and to me the answer is hell no. But say Rodgers goes and his dad dies Saturday night, Sunday morning. You think he's going to go play that football game like Favre did? I don't think there's any chance in hell.
No,
and if he goes and plays, he's not going to have that performance Favre had. That was an elite performance.
It was. It showed heart, guts, and how much he cared about his teammates. Aaron Rodgers would probably take 2 weeks off. Rightfully so. If you lost a family member, a wife, girlfriend, mom or dad, rightfully so. But Favre was wanting to be out there for his teammates.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh. You there, Marty?
No, I'm frozen.
Okay, you're back now. You're good. You cut out there though. Johnny said, "Fuck yes, he would," just so you could whine about it for the whole next season. Now
I'm unfrozen.
Bucs versus Packers is the home opener this season, week 3 at Ray J. I think it's going to be electric there, and I think you guys are going to destroy them.
I hope so, but it's hard to beat a team 3 or 4 times in a row. But at this point with Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to flip my pick and have the Bucs to win this one.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun week for me and Johnny to talk about Aaron Rodgers. I think I never really was. I like Aaron Rodgers as an athlete, but I don't like him as a person and as a teammate because he just looks to throw his teammates under the bus because he can't take blame for anything.
Yeah. All right, back to the news here. Something to watch for this week in the preseason games. Tyrod Taylor is going to get starting reps with the ones this week. He's eating away at some of those reps from Daniel Jones. Now, Brian Dable came out and said Daniel Jones is still our starter, said all that shit. But it's interesting to see that Tyrod's getting more and more reps with the ones.
I think he's really starting to the coaches are starting to really kind of distance themselves in practice. He must be really bad in practice where it's like, he's still our quarterback, but let's try Tyrod for maybe a couple of series extra. What I have looked at and watched on training camp in practice of the Giants, he doesn't look that great. He looked good in the first drive of the preseason game,
Yeah. Ben says that Brett Favre game
after
against
that,
the Raiders.
it was like same old Daniel Jones.
Oh, yeah. Ben says that Brett Favre game against the Raiders on Monday Night Football in 2003 was legendary. That performance was Hall of Fame level, especially under the circumstances. Without a doubt, man. Like,
yes, I watched that as a kid. That was amazing.
Yeah. If in a few years somebody asks me about Brett Favre, that's what I'm showing them. I'm giving them the circumstances of what happened, and I am showing them that game. Like, just unbelievable. That was one of the best games of his career, and it sucks that it happened under those circumstances. It really does. One of the best performances of all time based on what was going on.
Exactly, yes. Kind of like Quan Alexander when he played. I think it was against the Saints, and his brother got killed.
So. Yeah. Or like Marquise. I think it was Marquise Goodwin a few years ago, the receiver at the time for the 49ers, when he had lost his kid like hours before the game. It was a miscarriage or a failure during pregnancy, like during birth or something, and it just heartbreaking to hear. And then he goes out like first or second play and catches like a 75-yard touchdown and just went off that game. Like it's so sad to see that kind of stuff happen, but and see these players' reactions when they still go out. Like it's awful.
It's hard to watch. You feel for them. You want them to have a good performance. They've been through enough.
Yeah, it's somebody you're rooting for the entire time. Absolutely. Alex said it was the Falcons. That's right. I remember that now.
Against who?
For Quan Alexander. It was against the Falcons.
Falcons, okay. I knew it was in a dome, and I couldn't remember exactly who it was.
Johnny says this game is shit. Give me some CFL. I don't know who's playing tonight, honestly. I don't know. I couldn't tell you who's playing. I know there is a game on, though. Corey said Warren Sapp late hit on Brett Favre. Clock hit 0. Time runs out, and Warren Sapp fights with the Packers owner.
I remember that.
I don't remember that, if I'm being honest.
I don't know if it was the owner. I know it was the coach that they had a disagreement at the end of the game, him and Favre.
Alec, if there was Bucs ball on tonight, that's what we'd all be watching, not this shitty game that's going on right now.
We got to wait a few more nights, 2 more nights.
Speaking of which, yeah, here's the schedule for the week. Excuse me. Yeah, both our teams play on Saturday. You guys are at 7 Eastern.
It's on NFL Network as well. It'll be televised.
Yeah, that's good. Mine is not, so I got to try and find it somewhere else. But Johnny said exactly, Alex. Yeah. All right. It's just some injury news here and then one trade to go over. So I'll just kind of go through it quick. Patriots placed corner Malcolm Butler with an undisclosed injury on the injured reserve. His season is over. Zach Wilson underwent successful knee surgery with that arthroscopic knee surgery. There's a good chance he's ready to go for week 1, but we still got to wait and see.
I wonder if someone's mom drove him home from the surgery.
I would put money on it.
It would probably help on his rehab time. He'll probably come back a couple of weeks early. Saying.
Yeah, maybe. And then the Browns, as we said before, some of the centers started to go down. Their starting center, Nick Harris, tore his ACL. He's on IR. His season is over. Last piece of news there. The Eagles traded wide receiver J.J. Arcega-Whiteside to Seattle for defensive back Ugo Amadi. It's 2 guys that were probably going to get cut if they didn't get traded. So nothing really to look at there. Johnny says, I feel like we need some appropriate music for injury updates. Yeah, we got to find something there.
The Undertaker's theme or something?
For that, yeah, maybe, yeah. And Christopher Cole says, Joe Jervicius against the Eagles. Yeah, I forgot about that one. That's another good one.
Was that the division playoff game or the opening for the following season when it comes to JoJo versus an Eagle? I think that was actually the season opener after we won the Super Bowl. I think that's what he's talking about.
I think so. Alex said Alex's team gets to face French fries. Oh, yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah, I forgot about that. I did remember who we were playing this week, even though we've been joint practicing with them all week. All right. Now let's hop into this top one. Wow, that was an hour. That was like perfect, right hour on the dot for all that. That was perfect timing.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to start with the top 100 list here. We will start in just 100, work our way down. So just a couple things about the list so far. We had 151, so the first 50. There was 21 AFC players, 28 NFC, and 1 free agent. That free agent being Odell Beckham. There's 5 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 4 receivers, 2 tight ends, 2 tackles, 3 guards, 2 centers, 9 edge rushers, 3 interior defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, 5 corners, 6 safeties, a kicker, and a fullback. Corey says Bill Belichick going to retire 2023 if New England misses the playoffs. Then it's going to be a messy offseason. I can see it, honestly.
I can see a couple more seasons from Bill.
To me, it depends on how the team's doing. If you're seeing improvement, then I think he sticks around. If they kind of start to fall off, why stick around for the start of the rebuild? I can see him retiring as the coach and staying as the GM. I could see that.
I can see that. I feel like the Patriots are going to have more promise. I think they're probably going to be in the playoffs by kind of what observing from last year. I think they're going to be a number 7 seed, going to barely sneak in again.
To me, they're not even close to the playoffs. Just because, like, you think about it, there's the Bills and the Dolphins in their division alone that I think are both playoff teams. You've got the Chiefs, Chargers, Raiders, Broncos that probably take at least 2 playoff spots. Then you've got the Ravens, the Steelers, the Bengals. The Steelers are going to surprise a lot of people. They might snatch a playoff spot, but to me, it's the Ravens and the Bengals. And then you've got the Colts in the South. So, like, in my opinion, you've got the Bills. I'll take the Chargers in that division. I'll take the Ravens in the North and the Colts in the South. And then as your wildcard teams, I would take the Chiefs, probably that top wildcard team. I'd go the Dolphins, and then probably the Bengals as 7.
See, I just don't know if Miami's really going to be all this they're putting out. I got to see it to believe it at this point.
That's right, but I got to see it to believe it with a lot of what New England's doing. Like, to me, they're closer to the New York Jets at the bottom of the division than they are in Miami and the Bills. I am not high at all on what I'm seeing and hearing out of New England. It does not look good. If you're asking me, that's my personal opinion. But
you can never go against Bill Belichick. He's like a genius on some of this stuff. Man's got a mind on him.
But I'm starting to question the genius a little bit when it's like, oh, we lost Josh McDaniels. Okay, yeah, let's try and decide between Matt Patricia and Joe Judge on who's going to run our offense. Like,
I don't think he still made an announcement on who's going to be the OC.
No, because they're both terrible.
Like, who
That's
sucks
your
less?
issue. Yeah, exactly. And Johnny agrees with me. I think this is my kind of hot take, if you will. I've got New England at like 7 wins, maybe even 6 wins. It's a difficult schedule, and just with them losing all those pieces, and the Jets got much better, and the Dolphins and Bills are borderline elite teams, in my opinion. I think they win probably 2 games in the division, and outside of that, it kind of looks rough. That's just my personal opinion. People can agree, disagree, whatever they want to do, but that's how I feel.
I think New England can be potential 8 to 9 wins. I don't see them getting 10, but
And I think it's going to take 10 to get the playoffs this year in the AFC.
That's what I was saying. 9, you potentially get the final spot. Potentially.
Yeah. Ben says Bill Belichick has entered Greg Popovich territory. Good coach who's finally came down to earth after losing his stars and staff. Yeah, I kind of agree where they're gonna stay as long as they want because of what they've done for the organization and the success they've brought. But I think they're both at the end of their rope there. I think they've both kind of done all they can. I think it's time to walk off into the sunset, if you ask me.
At this point, it's almost like who's going to retire first.
Yeah, honestly.
Excuse me.
All right. Alex said, great return by Kobe Bryant. Never mind, wrong players, and then corrected the player. Johnny agrees with my take on New England. And again, like, there can be so many different opinions about it. I think I like a lot of the players they have there. It's just I don't know that the scheme's going to be right. Because from all accounts of what I've heard with New England on the offensive side, is they're trying to do a dummied down version of what the Rams are doing. You do not have the players to do what the Rams are doing.
No, you don't have the quarterback for that.
You don't have the quarterback. You don't have the receivers for that. You don't have the tight end is good enough.
Pretty much don't even have the offensive line for something like that.
Yeah, you're starting to lose it. Yeah. I just saw that pop up there. Johnny, do you want to try doing the same thing you did before and see if that works? All right. Let's hop into this list here. We'll go 5 at a time. So at 100 was fullback Kyle Juszczyk of the San Francisco 49ers. 99 was Kirk Cousins.
Okay, I was about to say real quick, the fullback, it's nice to see a fullback being acknowledged for something.
And he deserves to be on here, I truly think.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very okay with that. Kirk Cousins, 99. David Montgomery, 98. Leonard Williams, 97. And Jimmy Ward, 96. I might be the odd man out here, but to me, Kirk Cousins should not be on this list. I get the numbers and everything, and my argument for all these players, including Kirk Cousins, is we got to see how many players at each position make the list. But Kirk Cousins, even if you look at last year, was like the 11th best quarterback. And there may be 11 quarterbacks on here. There was already 5, and we haven't seen Stafford. Well, there's going to be more than 5. Or more than 11, sorry. Because we haven't seen Stafford. We haven't seen Burrow, Herbert, Brady, Allen, Rodgers. That's 6 right there.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Lamar. So I guess in that sense, maybe he deserves to make it. But I think there's players at other positions that can take his spot.
Best quarterback ever. You like that?
Yeah, you like that, don't you, Johnny?
You like that?
Other than that, I like Montgomery being on there. He's a hell of a player. Leonard Williams is good. Jimmy Ward, I kind of have an issue with because of how bad that San Francisco secondary is as a whole. It's brutal. And to me, that's the reason they didn't beat the Rams and go to the Super Bowl. Is because it got late in the game and Matt Stafford and Kupp were able to torch them. That's all it was.
I don't see the Patriots going 0-17.
No, they're definitely not going 0-17.
No.
They'll win over 5 games. They'll be 6, 7, 8, 9, somewhere in that range. I could see any of those 4 win totals, honestly, 6, 7, 8, or 9, just based on how the schedule goes. Johnny's favorite player is in this next 5. No, it is not Aaron Rodgers. We've got Jason. I will get to that in a little bit here. Bucs fans aren't going to like the player. CeeDee Lamb is number 95, wide receiver for the Cowboys. Johnny's favorite player, Justin Tucker, kicker for the Ravens at number 94. Von Miller, edge rusher for now the Buffalo Bills at 93. Tyron Smith, tackle for the Cowboys, 92. And the player I kind of have an issue with here, 91, is Kyle Pitts. Tight end from the Falcons.
he didn't really show that much. Like, honestly, Kirk Cousins showed more than Kyle Pitts. And he's lower than Kirk Cousins. He's higher than Kirk Cousins.
I get that as a rookie, he broke Ditka's records that seemed unbreakable for a tight end. The 67, 68 receptions for over 1,000 yards, that in itself is impressive. But you had one touchdown the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
And points are the thing that matters in this league. I get that he's super talented, but he's not one of the best 100 players in the NFL right now.
And honestly, when you watch some of the Falcon games, a lot of those extra yards came at garbage time where they was getting the brakes beat off of them. So, no, he should not be above. I mean, maybe 99, maybe 100, maybe, but not 90. Yeah. What, you said 91?
Yeah, 91. Corey says Kirk Cousins is Phillip Rivers, a good quarterback, but Kirk Cousins will not win a Super Bowl with the Vikings. I absolutely agree.
Yeah, he's not going to win a Super Bowl with the Vikings.
No.
The only time that man gets a Super Bowl ring if he's actually a backup and late in his career and joins basically ring chasing. That's the only way he gets one.
Corey says Falcons are more likely to go 0-17 than the Patriots. Absolutely right. I've got the Falcons as like a top 5 pick. So, as you can tell, I don't think they're going to be very good. Johnny keeps flashing this comment. Yes, I see you, Johnny. Tucker should have been 66. Asshole.
Johnny needs him a jersey of Justin Tucker. We need to get him one.
As long as it's not number 66, I don't care. We'll move on to the next 5 here. Free agent wide receiver, Odell Beckham Jr. is number 90. I'll give my opinion on that in a second. 89 is Marshawn Lattimore, corner for the Saints. 88 is Jonathan Allen, defensive tackle for the Commanders. 87 is Denzel Ward, corner for the Browns. And 86, we got our first Bucs player on the list. It is Shaq Barrett.
I'm okay with him at 86. He kind of had a down year, so 86 is still respectable. I'm okay with that. There's some more on the list here I don't have. I'm not very happy about, but 86 is maybe 82, 86. That's fine.
Oh, damn it, Johnny. Yeah, I think 86 is kind of the right spot for him based on how he did this year. I completely agree with you. I get that OBJ had a very good second half to the season, but he was awful the first half.
Yeah.
Nobody talked about him other than when is he getting out of Cleveland.
So when he caused drama and diva-ness in Cleveland.
I don't like when he's healthy, he's one of the best 100 players in the NFL. Absolutely. Probably in that top 50. But with half the season, I can't put you in the top 100.
No, not at all. Especially when he's not even signed to a team for this upcoming season. I know that due with a lot of injury, but
yeah, that has everything to do with the ACL tear. Otherwise, he would have been signed day 1 of free agency.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, 85 to 81. We've got Mac Jones, rookie quarterback from the Patriots. 84, Roquan Smith. 83, Wyatt Teller, guard from the Browns. 82, Kenny Moore, corner from the Colts. And 81, Justin Simmons, safety from the Broncos. I don't really have any problems there.
No, I think Matt Jones might be a tad bit high, but not by much. I think maybe an 87.
Yeah, that's fair. I could see him moving up a little bit, but
overall, based on what he did, maybe an 80 and maybe 81 on Smith, maybe 82, but pretty much I don't really have a big problem with that at all.
Roquan, you could move way, way higher, but again, he was one of those players, he had a down year. Like talent-wise, he's inside that top 50. But how he played last year. Johnny, and one thing we got to look at too is this is voted on by the players. And yes, Mac Jones has done far less than Cousins, but Mac Jones has had 1 year where Kirk Cousins has had 10. So there's a little bit of a difference there. from what people expected from Mac Jones year one, I think he did enough to make that spot. Kirk Cousins, when you have Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, KJ Osborne, Dalvin Cook, you've got weapons galore versus what Mac Jones had. I think Mac Jones does deserve to be higher. I'll argue that, and you can call it NFC North bias if you want, him being a Viking. But to me, that's just my opinion as a football guy. Johnny said I did it. I got a baby rant from Alex. There's some players you might get a rant out of me on a few of these players. We'll see how it goes. Corey says Justin Herbert's my 2022-2023 MVP.
He's going to be in the running.
I think it's him or Josh Allen, honestly. If you're going one of the young guys. But Brady's always in there. Rodgers is always in there. For
and Mahomes. Reason. You can't forget Patrick Mahomes, too.
Yeah, especially with losing Tyreek Hill. There's the storyline there for Mahomes to get it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think those 5 guys. Johnny, of course, it's a bias. No, well, I mean, there's a little bit of bias to it, but it's a football opinion. Ben says, sorry. Ben Cornett says top 100 is the same thing as the Pro Bowl, just a player's vote and something you give the NFL fans to have fun with. That's all. The only difference is the Pro Bowl is a fan vote, not a player vote. But still, there's nothing of importance there. Although the one thing with the Pro Bowl as well, there is importance. You have to make at least one to be eligible for the Hall of Fame. So,
yeah.
Because everyone was pushing for Ryan Fitzpatrick to get in last year so he could be eligible for the Hall of Fame, even though he wasn't getting in. All right, where were we?
His beard might get into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. All right. Going 80 to 76 here. We're getting close to one of your rants, I think. 80 is James Conner, running back for the Cardinals. 79 is Rashawn Slater, tackle for the Chargers. 78 is Trey Hendrickson, edge rusher for the Bengals. 77 is Darius Slay, corner for the Eagles. And 76 is Brian Burns, edge rusher for the Panthers. Johnny, you do still have to get a Pro Bowl. And that's why they were pushing for that for Fitzpatrick this year. If you want to look it up just to make sure, but I'm pretty sure All-Pro definitely counts. But I'm pretty sure you have to make at least one Pro Bowl to be eligible. Marty, you got any issues with 80 to 76?
No, so I mean that's pretty. I got no problem with that.
Yeah, I'm just glad to see Rashawn Slater make it. I'm a former offensive lineman, so as many offensive linemen that can get on here as possible, I love it. I'm all for that.
They don't get recognized enough at all.
No, and Rashawn Slater as a rookie was one of the best left tackles in football last year. So he should absolutely get all the recognition. He definitely deserves it. I do is every time we bring up Hall of Fame, this player gets brought up. Is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer? What's your opinion?
Oh, God. I guess by postseason, if you go by postseason performance, yes. Regular season, no. But here's what's going to be the deal breaker. How many rings? He's got 2. So, honestly, Troy Aikman. Yeah, and Troy Aikman, well, yeah, and Tom Brady. And then you got like Troy Aikman, he's got 3. And he's got kind of like almost similar numbers, playing style as Eli, but he's got the hardware. He's got the rings. Well, Eli does too. So, yes, he's a Hall of Famer just because of his postseason performance. If he had 1 ring, like a Trent Dilfer or something, I'd be like, no. But he has 2. And who he played against. I mean, he basically defeated the undefeated Patriots. That was almost like the 2.0 version of the best show on turf from the St. Louis Rams days.
Yeah.
So, yes, he is a Hall of Famer just by the hardware he has on his hand.
All right, I got a different opinion on it. Should he be a Hall of Famer? My answer is no. There were too many years of mediocrity and good talent but poor success. Yes, I know he's got the 2 Super Bowls. The one is the last seed in the playoffs, beating Green Bay at home, working your way up. But like I said, there's too much mediocrity, too many bad seasons, and some of it's the team. But he played poorly in a lot of seasons. Will he get in? Yes, because he's a Manning, because his 2 Super Bowl wins came against Brady. He's 2-0 in the Super Bowl. You can't take that away. And the last name. You can't take that away from him. So he will end up getting in, but should he, my opinion is no.
I mean, my honest opinion, if I take away the Super Bowls, absolutely not. But it's hard to not put him in because he beat Brady. I mean, you're beating the GOAT. You're beating an undefeated football team at the time. And his last name Manning. So yes, by his name and what he's done in the postseason, yes, he's a Hall of Famer.
The way I like to look at it when I'm trying to think if somebody should be in or not, strip the name away and strip the moments away. Look purely at the numbers and the hardware. What do they have? Is it enough to get in? And with Eli Manning, those numbers are not enough to get in. There's a lot of the good, but there's enough of the bad to say no.
I mean, if you think, Troy Aikman kind of comes to mind. Just basically not mind-blowing stats. So if Aikman didn't have the 3 Super Bowl rings, he's not really a Hall of Famer, in my opinion. Yeah. And that's the same way with Eli. If he doesn't have the hardware, he's not a Hall of Famer. But championships get you in the Hall of Fame if you win enough of them. I think if you win more than one starting quarterback, you're pretty much going to get in.
Yeah. Well, and Troy Aikman, if he was a player nowadays, he's not getting in. Because he was with the Cowboys during that dynasty run and all that, he gets in off that. Ben says, I'm with Alex on the Eli Manning Hall of Fame argument. The 2 Super Bowl wins will put him in and the Manning name. And then Chris says he was in the process of typing that.
I mean, kind of like Ben Roethlisberger, too. I mean, he never really had mind-blowing stats year in and year out, but he has the Super Bowls. I mean, he was consistent, so he's going to probably be a Hall of Famer.
Now, if you look at the career numbers for Roethlisberger versus Manning, Ben's are much better. Much, much better. Ben's numbers are Hall of Fame worthy.
It's still not like big mind-blowing numbers, but yeah, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Oh, and this one starts getting brought up too. Is Phillip Rivers a Hall of Famer?
Ooh.
You want me to take first?
Yeah.
Or you wanna...
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
To me, it's no. This is the Hall of Fame. This is the best of the best. But when it comes to the Hall of Fame, we got to quit putting players in that weren't the best of the best. Phillip Rivers was a very good quarterback. He was not elite. He is not a Hall of Famer. The teams he was on, he should have done more with.
Oh, yeah. Late Damian Tomlinson and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Damian Tomlinson, Antonio Gates, Vincent Jackson, Keenan Allen, like weapons galore. So, yes, the numbers came with the talent around him. But it's a tough one. To me, he's right at that line of yes or no, and to me, I just drop him down to no, because in my personal opinion, we got to start being harder on who gets into the Hall of Fame and who doesn't.
Well, he never really had. I mean, that also goes back to the Eli and stuff, the postseason. He doesn't have the hardware and a lot of the success in the postseason. He does have good numbers. In my opinion, he gets in the Hall of Fame, but it's going to be one of those Hines Ward or Rondé Barber. He's going to have to wait 4, 5, 6 seasons to potentially get in. He's not going to be a first ballot. That's out the window. No, he's going to have to wait 5, 6 seasons to probably get in.
Yeah.
He's got solid numbers. I think, what is he, in top 10 passing and touchdowns? I could be wrong on that. So, yeah.
Corey says Phillip Rivers, no Hall of Fame, only Ring of Honor. That's it. That's absolutely what I think. He's the type of player that goes on your Ring of Honor. He's not the type of player that goes in the Hall of Fame. That's what I think with that. Now, Ben says if you had to pick one or the other to put in, who do you pick, Rivers or Eli Manning? To me, it's Eli.
Really?
Yeah. Like we said, he's got the hardware.
That's right. I thought Ben was asking, like, just by numbers, Who would
if
you
it's
pick
numbers,
just
it's
by numbers?
absolutely it's Rivers. But
Okay.
you still
Yeah.
do unfortunately have to look at hardware
The
and the
rings, yeah.
numbers and
Yeah. If that's the case, yeah, it's still Eli because he's got him beat with the 2 Super Bowl rings.
Chris says Rivers is a Hall of Famer and having kids.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I think
he
he
knows
should
a thing or two
actually.
about that.
I think he should actually have a endorsement by Trojan Condoms, maybe.
Yeah. Larry Fitzgerald, is he a Hall of Famer? Absolutely.
Yeah, he is. I know he never got that ring, but God, he was. Yeah, he's one of the greatest. I think he'd probably go down as the top 15 greatest wide receivers in NFL history.
I think he's higher. I think he's in the top 10, pushing the top 5.
Think so? Okay.
Yep. He's not quite in the top 5, but, and here's the thing, where we said top 15 and I said top 10, maybe top 5, that is immediately a Hall of Famer. 100%. Johnny says Big Ben's numbers 165, 81, and 1 win-loss record, 64,088 yards, 418 touchdowns. Now here's the question for you. How many interceptions? Because that we got to include those in the numbers as well. Corey, hate to break it to you, man. I know you hate the Saints. Drew Brees is a Hall of Famer, probably first ballot.
Oh, he will be first ballot. There's no question on that.
And he's earned every bit of that.
Yeah, he's going to get in day one. I don't like Drew Brees either, but he is a hell of a quarterback, and once he gets in shine or in the Hall of Fame, it's going to all be about him. That's going to be his Hall of Fame.
Yeah. So we've got 418 touchdowns, 211 interceptions, so just under a 2-to-1 ratio. The rest of the numbers for me are enough to get him in.
Yeah,
I definitely think so.
He gets in.
All right. This is where I think your rant's coming on the top 100 list. Number 75, we have Antoine Winfield Jr. Number 74, we have Demario Davis, linebacker from the Saints. Number 73, we have Cordero Patterson, running back from the Falcons. 72 is Quandre Diggs, safety from the Seattle Seahawks. 71 is Jason Kelce, center from the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, currently free agent, I guess. I should have him. Or no, they reworked the deal, right? He's with the Eagles. So what do you think about Winfield being under Quandre Diggs?
I think Winfield is – I feel like Winfield should be like 61, 62-ish. He's not like a big difference. So I have someone else on this list I'm going to have a rant about. But 61, 62, you know exactly who I'm talking about. So he's only like 10, 12-ish. I mean, even if he was like 66, 67, something like that. 70, what did you say, 75?
75.
You said?
And 75. Then 72 for Diggs.
Yeah, it's low. It is a little low, but it's not mind-blowing, fixing to flip tables and throw shit through windows and stuff like I have a rant about. It could be up higher. I think 67, 66 where he should be.
The only thing that makes me disagree with that is the 2 safeties I haven't said that will be in the next set are better than Winfield. And it sucks that one of them is in your division now. But they're 2 of the best safeties in the NFL. Yep. Matthew being at 70 and Budda Baker being at 67. They're both better than Winfield. So I would have them at 72 and Diggs at 75. I would switch them. But to me, that's right around where I would put them.
Yeah, like I said, I don't really have a big problem. It's the rankings and stuff, but I feel like the safeties need to be ranked a little bit higher, and they're even all the good ones, like you just said, they're ranked kind of low. So, but I don't have
it's going to be interesting to see because, like we said, we've got another like 7 or 8 quarterbacks. You've probably got another 6 or 7 receivers. You've probably got 7 or 8 running backs. You've probably another 4 or 5 offensive linemen. Probably a close to 5 to 10 defensive linemen. You kind of got to start thinking about who's going to be ahead and then realize that some of these guys fall into the right spot. Whether it seems high or low or whatever it seems, it is the right spot for some of these guys. All right, move to this next set. I already said 70 was Tyrann Mathieu. For Mr. Jason Swade up here, if you're still here. He said, who's number 69? Number 69 is none other than Cameron Jordan, edge rusher from the Saints. 68 is Zach Martin, guard from the Cowboys. 67 is Budda Baker, safety from the Cardinals. And number 66 is DeForest Buckner, defensive tackle from the Colts. I don't have a problem with any. I guess I'll make the unpopular opinion. Cameron Jordan should be higher. He should.
Yeah,
he's a much better edge rusher.
I was about to say that he should be maybe 55, 54, maybe.
100% what this comment says. His popularity pulled to waste time while we wait on the real games. That's why we're discussing it. Because there's no game we're talking about right now.
Exactly.
All right. Yeah.
If there is a game playing, it's probably garbage.
Yeah. Yeah, Cameron Jordan should be a bit higher. That's the only discussion I have there. Number 65, Derek Carr, quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders. Number 64, Devin White, linebacker for your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 63, Jalen Waddle, wide receiver for the Miami Dolphins. Number 62, edge rusher for the Las Vegas Raiders. And number 61, Russell Wilson, quarterback for the Denver Broncos.
Okay, so I got an unpopular opinion. I'm okay with Devin White where he's at.
Me too.
I have opinion of Russell Wilson being higher than Derek Carr, just based on last season.
To me, Russell Wilson shouldn't be on the list this year.
Yeah, Derek Carr should be higher than where he's at.
Yep. I would probably take Russell Wilson out of the list and put Carr where Wilson is now. I'd throw him at like 60, 61.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah. Russell Wilson missed games, and then when he came back, did not look very good. So
he looked like He looked like a half-price version of what he used to be at a Walmart. Pretty much.
I was going to say like a great value version of what he was.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's the only thing I got for that one. Johnny agrees on the whole Wilson and Carr debate. Oh, excuse me. The next set here, we're getting closer to that rant. 2 sets left. Number 60 is Corey Linsley, center from the Los Angeles Chargers. Number 59, Max Crosby, the other edge rusher for the Las Vegas Raiders. Number 58 is Darren Waller, tight end for the Las Vegas Raiders. 57, Kyler Murray, quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. Number 56 is Xavier Howard, corner for the Miami Dolphins.
So, Derek Carr, once again, should be higher than Kyler Murray.
I disagree.
Yes, I said that.
If you look at – because it's looking at the year they had. Kyler Murray did have the better season.
They started out extremely hot, and then he basically hit a brick wall.
Yeah. To me, I still think you also got to look at what that team was when they hit that wall. That's the argument to be made for there.
When Hopkins was it hamstring or something? Hopkins suffered a
knee. It was his knee.
Knee, yeah.
Yeah.
I just felt as a pure passer, I would have Derek Carr over Kyler Murray any day. I mean, Kyler Murray can get you his legs, but as just a quarterback, passer, pocket presence, everything, Derek Carr every day of the week over Kyler Murray.
The argument I'll make you here is put Derek Carr with what Kyler Murray was working with and put Kyler Murray with what Derek Carr was working with. I think the numbers are going to be in Kyler's favor with the better situation than when Derek Carr is in the better situation. I hate saying that because I really like Derek Carr, but I think if you're going based off last year, Kyler. Ben agrees with you, by the way. He said Carr over Kyler. It pains me to say that because I've been one of those guys that's been pushing Derek Carr for a few years now. But
yeah, Carr is just a well-balanced, more polished quarterback than Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray looks like a toddler that's running away after he got in trouble when he's running around in the pocket.
Yeah. And here before we get to the section with the rant, Johnny says, "Oh, by the way, game update, 27-3 now. Bears scored again at some point while I wasn't looking." Yeah, while none of us were looking. Shit.
We got a barn burner. Everybody turn on your TVs.
Don't waste your damn time. All right. The final section here that was released, number 55, Joel Bitonio, guard for the Cleveland Browns. So both their guards made the the bottom 50 here. Jeffrey Simmons, defensive tackle for the Titans, well deserved. I'm going to skip 53. 52 was Matt Judon, edge rusher for the New England Patriots. Number 51 was Alvin Kamara, running back for the New Orleans Saints. And now coming back to 53, for your Tampa Bay Buccaneers, number 13, Mike Evans.
Okay. When is this man going to get some damn respect? Since he's came in the league, he has had 8,000 yards, consistent 1,000-yard seasons. He has 75 receiving touchdowns. If I remember correctly, since he came in the league, he leads all wide receivers. And they still, even in video games, they fucking 92, 93, ratings. He's the most underrated player in NFL history, yada, yada, yada. When is he going to get recognition? He is an elite wide receiver. He should be at least top 25 to top 30. This is a disgrace to be in top 51. When there's probably going to be wide receivers on this list. It's going to be laughable that they're going to be higher than Mike Evans. Now I can see a Cooper Kupp, maybe a Tyreek Hill, and probably a few more. Maybe the one from the Raiders now. I can't think of his name. I can see maybe them
Hunter
over Mike. No. The one they just traded for from Green Bay. Devontae, yes. I can see that.
Are above him, yeah.
Mike Evans, in my opinion, is top 5 wide receiver in this league right now and has been for the last 3 seasons. This is a disgrace to be not even a top 50, not even a top 25. So this man is just a year in and year out. It's been overlooked. And it's a freaking shame because this is a bona fide superstar, elite wide receiver that's just being every season, even by his peers. And it's a shame. It is a pure shame.
The one argument I will counter you with, and I agree he should be higher. Again, let's wait and see who's put in that top 50. Because like I said, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 positions that are going to have players on this list in the top 50. So let's wait and see how many. Sorry, I hate to be this person. Mike Evans is not a top 10 player in the NFL, and he's probably not. I'd have him in the 30 to 40 range is where I would put him, in the 30s.
But you're right there, Johnny. I mean, ever since he's been in the league, but I'm talking about pure, 10, 15 receiving touchdowns. In the last 3 seasons, he's just been off the charts. That's what I meant. He's been solid every year he's come in the league, but the last 3 seasons he has just been dominant, and he's still getting ignored.
Now here's the argument as it pertains to this list. Your argument, everything you said was 100% correct, but this list is based on last season. So Cooper Kupp had a better year. Devontae Adams, you could make the argument either way. Who was the other one? Tyreek to me, you could go either way. Jamar Chase had a better season. Justin Jefferson had a better season. So he's in that 5 to 7 range for me.
That's what I'm saying. He's still in that, I believe, top 5 because look at his receiving touchdowns last year. Was it 13 or 14 he had last season receiving touchdowns? I think it was 14 or 13. So where does he rank?
A very good point here.
So where did he rank on like you was talking about earlier for Pitts? 1 touchdown. Touchdowns matter a lot, and he had. I think
you're absolutely right.
So by touchdowns alone, and still getting 1,000 yards, he is a top 5. I believe he was in the top 5 in receiving touchdowns. So he should have been a top 5 wide receiver. He didn't get a ton of yards. I understand that, but you still got what counted the most points.
The other argument, and again, I'm just playing devil's advocate here for the people watching. I agree with Marty that he should be way higher. The argument against Evans is the team around him. You look at it, Justin Jefferson has an old-ass Adam Thielen. Cooper Kupp had, who was his other receiver there? Robert Woods tore his ACL, and then he got OBJ partway through the year. For the majority of the season, Cooper Kupp was pretty much the only guy. And the numbers he put up. Jamar Chase had weapons around him, but it was the rookie season, so they're gonna shoot him to the moon there based off that. And Devontae Adams was the only option. So
yeah, I see all that, but also here in Tampa, you had Mike Evans go down. Not Mike Evans. You had Godwin go down. Week 11, week 12, or something.
Something like that, yeah.
So we was down Godwin, and then we had Antonio Brown turn into Magic Mike in the end zone against the Jets. And like Johnny said, he played with Perryman and Grayson, and he still was
for like a
top dog.
The only thing with that is he played with those guys as his 2 sidekicks for like a 5-6 week stretch. Devontae Adams had that same level of receivers for an entire season. I'm just making the arguments for the other receivers at this point. And Cooper Kupp had Robert Woods, who was playing decent, and then he had OBJ, who played very well. But then Van Jefferson was the number 3 as a rookie. So it's just like some of these. I'm not even going to bring up Jamar Chase because he had T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd and C.J. Uzomah and all them. Yes, but Johnny, at the same time, they were the top targets, but the whole game plan went to stopping them, and they still put up those numbers. When you game plan for the Bucs, the majority of the season, it was, okay, how do we stop Godwin and Evans and Gronk and Fournette? You know what I mean? So it's hard to say he's better and like higher than some of these guys when some of these guys did it essentially by themselves. That's the only argument you really could make for some of those guys. And Ben says, yeah, this is correct. Evan still had AB for a few weeks after Godwin went down. It was like 3-4 weeks, something like that.
Yeah, cause
that was the last month of the regular season.
Yeah, because AB was out for a while, even before he had an injury mid-season of his foot, ankle, or something.
Yeah,
and he was out 3 or 4 games. Came back, played 3 or 4, and then did the whole Jets. Like I said, Magic Mike bull crap in the end zone and ran off and peace signed everybody.
Johnny, but again, this is the point we're missing with this is just going off this last year. So, yes, we can talk about all the garbage he had throwing to him before, all the garbage he worked with before, but we're just talking about the last 17-game regular season that was just played. That's all it was. So, I know you're trying to get me to rant. I wouldn't quite call this a rant, but you got enough to put me on my own solo screen, so... to me, it's I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here, so we play all angles. That's all it is. I actually agree. All right. I didn't think it would take this long to get into it. But as you can see on the bottom here, after the top 100 list was Deshaun Watson. How have we gone an hour 45 without hardly talking Deshaun Watson? I have no idea. Oh, okay. I don't know why I got tossed out there for a second, but all right. So
okay, Alex, I'll let you take.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say I'll set the floor.
I want you to get. Yeah, I'm gonna sit back and hear your opinion first on this.
All right. So this is, you might get a rant out of me here, Johnny. We'll see how much spews out on my opinion here.
Do it.
So Deshaun Watson settled with the NFL today. Well, the NFLPA settled on his behalf with the NFL on 11 games and a $5 million fine. So this is still where I struggle with this. This case looked at 5 of the victims. So essentially what we're saying is what he did to these people is worth 2 games and $1 million each when you break it down. That is disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting. For the reports that came out on what he did. Johnny, I had a rant at work today, so that's why I was like, you may or may not get the rant out of me, because I was explaining it to people that didn't know what was going on. They don't know football or anything. So I was explaining what was going on, and I had a rant about just how horrible Deshaun Watson has been in this whole instance. You gave Calvin Ridley a full year suspension at least for betting on NFL games because it looked bad for the league. How does having essentially a sexual predator only sit out 11 games, how does that not look bad on the NFL? Especially when you've been pushing for women to be further advanced in careers in the NFL and pushing women's rights and equality and all this. And then you're just going to shove this aside and give him 11 games and $5 million fine. You did. When you've been pushing the entire time for an indefinite suspension. It's disgusting.
It's a black eye to the NFL for them to try to push all this stuff for try to get women into the sport and try to show awareness for abuse and shit like this. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's a superstar. Oh, we're just going to give him a slap on the wrist. This is a travesty on how they handled this.
I don't know if you listened to his press conference or not that he had today.
Oh, yeah. About the, I'm sorry for what he said. The women that I have offended. Is that what he said? Exactly.
Triggered was the word he said.
But I still stand by my innocence. Okay. NFL, you talked to 5 of the 27. Is it 27 or 28 women that
26.
26. You talked to 5. You still had 21 more you could have talked to. Even though they settled, you could still get evidence and see their side of the story.
When they settle, you're supposed to be pulled out. So realistically, this case should have only been 4 because one of them settled. And so realistically, it should have been 4. Supposed to be when you settle, that's it. But
this would have been going on way before they even settled, before training camp and mini camp. This has been going on for a while.
The civil lawsuits were the stuff with Sue Robinson, the 21 or whatever, 22 of the 26 had settled, is what it was. Before they even started looking at this, all but 4 were settled, and now those 4 are still left open.
Well, in my opinion on this, he should have got like a complete season ban. But here's my problem with the NFL and the owner, especially the owner of the Browns. Even his wife turned her back on her fellow women and gave him, like, we're going to give him a second chance. He's going to rehab. He is sorry for all this. And yet in his apology, he's not sorry. He's like, I still stand by my innocence. And the Browns are still wanting to stand by him. He's like, he's going to go to therapy. We will still trade for him. NFL, I'm sorry. All this crap you have pushed, and I agree with Alex on this, all this crap you have pushed the last 2 seasons to have women to be in coaches and be in the sport and journalists and reporters. You have slapped every one of them in the face by doing this right here. Be like, oh, he sexually harassed 26 women. He's a superstar. 11 games.
Johnny had the
Sorry.
exact point here. How about the NFLPA? They left Ridley out to hang.
Mm-hmm.
And they went and battled for Watson.
Because superstar, like, if this happened
and Ben rolls right into it here.
If this would have happened to Cameron Brate, he would have been kicked out of the league. And this happened to a superstar, so we have to protect the superstar. No, you don't. You protect the integrity of the game and what you stand for it. Apparently, you don't stand for women at all when you took his side and gave him 11 games. So I don't want to hear no more of this crap of the NFL when it comes to the month of October and stuff and November, how you stand for women and equal rights. After you just proved you don't give a damn if it comes to a superstar. The superstar and the male comes first over what the women actually just went through.
Well, the disgusting part is you can tell this was intentionally done, the 11 games.
Yeah, to come back and play the Texans.
Yeah, he comes back to play the Houston Texans.
For ratings, because we got to have that mighty dollar. We can't actually stand by...
It's disgusting. That's the one word I have to describe this whole thing. And like Christopher says, the NFL dropped the ball in this situation like they do so many other situations.
Exactly. Christopher's right on that. When it comes to like major decisions of superstars, it gets out of line. They mostly drop the ball.
Yeah. Ben says, well, what do you want the Haslams to say, Marty? They have to say it, and they have 230 million reasons to say it. That's true. Like... Here's the thing. I understand that. Don't sign him in the first place until you have everything figured out. That's what it should have been.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now that you sign him, you have to back him. Like that's unfortunate, but and John, morality. It's very obscure in this situation, and it's brutal. It really is. I can't wrap my mind around it.
It's sad. It's a sad day for the NFL, in my opinion, because they really let a lot of people down.
Yeah.
Because these women, they're going to have to live with this the rest of their life. Man, he gets a slap on the wrist for like $5 million. Is that really a lot for him to donate? Well, he's just making all this money and shit. Is it really that much?
Ben says also the 11 games was done because if it was 10, his first game back would have been against the Bucs. The NFL, I believe, doesn't want to put Brady in the same game as Watson. I mean,
they wanted a Texan Brown coming back.
To me, if the NFL wants to see him hang, they did the entire time, you put him back in against the Bucs so he can get absolutely slaughtered and massacred. And then you have him with his tail between his legs versus the Texans. That's just my opinion, but to me, this was intentionally done.
Yeah, give them a little bit of piece of humble pie. And apparently, they didn't want that. They wanted the ratings and the big marketing that they can do that week of Deshaun Watson's return against his old team. I mean, that's all you're going to hear that week is Watson Texans. That's just selling the product. That's all it is.
I mean, I don't think it's going to happen, but I hope Davis Mills and the Texans just absolutely dominate the Browns that day. I really hope so. It's not going to happen, but I really hope it does. I might buy a Davis Mills jersey for that week. Johnny said they wanted Texans versus Browns. That's added money. And that's what the added money for charity the Haslams paid was for. Yeah. Yeah, this was the owners kind of greasing the pockets a little bit. Yeah. And it's unfortunate. If you look at it from that angle, that's understandable, Ben. He said that about the Bucs and Brady because Tom's like an ambassador to the NFL and the face of it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair. Although you could have essentially done the face of the NFL versus the friggin' biggest bad guy in the NFL right now. But
right, the hero versus the villain almost.
Yeah, that's the term I was looking for. Thank you, Marty.
Yeah.
Villain. Oh, it's been a long
Yes.
day. English is hard right now. Yeah. Let's use this to segue into the Bucs talk here. Brady's getting crucified by the media right now. Yeah, they came out and said something that I expected, honestly. Said that there's no definitive timeline for Tom Brady's return. It's kind of still up in the air. He'll be back before the regular season. He's not going to miss that much time.
Yeah, and that's what I don't understand about the media. It's like, what do you want from the man? This is his 23rd season. Do you really think he needs to be in these preseason games? I understand.
He doesn't even need to be at practice.
No.
Give the reps to Trask. Like,
they need Gabbert and Trask needs those reps. They need that experience. Brady has been there, done that, and crossed that bridge. If the man wants to take a little time off with his family, let him do it. He's deserved
especially
it.
if you agreed to it before. Like,
yeah, let him get it. I mean, let him enjoy a little time with his family. We got more issues of trying to see who's the depth really from quarterback and offensive line right now. If we're trying to experiment with offensive linemen, we don't want Brady out there being the gopher, I guess you say, of this whole experiment. Put Trask out there. And we need to know what Trask, if he's going to be a bona fide starter. He looked really good in the preseason game against the Miami Dolphins. I mean, I think it was 265 yards, maybe passing, 2 touchdowns, I think, and an interception and a fumble. The interception was more like that was just a hell of a play. I can't put that on him. The second one was just lack of pocket presence and also maybe a little bit of the offensive line. But he showed a lot of promise, and you want to see that. Brady doesn't need to be out there to take those extra licks and stuff. Brady is here for one thing and one thing only, Super Bowl. And we're having issues right now with injuries of the offensive line. Put those young quarterbacks in there, see what they can do, and see what we got to protect Brady. If we got an issue protecting Brady with our young guys, we don't need Brady taking the hits right now until we know what we're doing. At center, and I believe left tackle. I think it's left tackle. It's worse getting hurt. So, yeah, just Bucs fans and the media, calm down. He's going to be fine.
Ben's absolutely right here, though.
See, I agree with Brady's. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he's an ambassador, and let the man do what he wants to do. Yeah, it's not the end of the world.
To the media, he kind of is, though. That's the thing.
True, it is.
Score update 27-11 now. Seattle scored again, and I still missed it. And Corey said Geno Smith exiting with an injury. Something to keep an eye on there, because it sounded like he was the starter, supposedly. Well, he was the front runner. Yeah.
Some news for fantasy owners if they have him on his team.
Yeah. Excuse me. All right. Jason said, give me Brady talk all day, ladies. All right. So I'm going to say something here. We know the same amount that everyone else knows, and it's not a damn thing when it comes to Tristan Wirfs and his core injury. It's that 2 to 3 weeks that was rumored and put up in the comments up here way before. I'll scroll and try and find it, but I doubt I'll find it. Oh, there we go. It was Ben. Wirfs got hurt, strained oblique, 3 to 4 weeks, if that's the case. You guys desperately need him.
We need that to be 2.5, 3 weeks tops. We can't do 4 weeks.
Yeah. And Chris makes a good point about the preseason games. That O-line was second and third team tackles. Yeah, absolutely. But when it gets going back to worse, especially when you're facing, like, Dallas has a good pass rush and the Saints have a very good pass rush for your first 2 games there. you need the best right tackle in the NFL. You need him on the field. That guy is a stud. He's the best player on your offensive line. Obviously with Marpet being gone. Not Marpet, Jensen, sorry. Was the one I was thinking of. Johnny, yeah, I completely agree. Especially with an unknown timeline realistically. There's no official timeline on Wirfs. Yeah, I'd be shitting my pants if I was Brady too. Like,
yeah, I don't blame Brady not wanting to come back to camp right now. Take a little extra time to see what's going to go on.
Yeah,
not looking good. I mean, phew. I'm really hoping it's between the 2.5 to 3. It's got it, for us. We got to have it like 3 weeks tops.
Yep. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, Jason says, well, sweeties, I would love to stay and play, but I got to get to work on my 53-man roster back at the studio, so I got a motor. Bye-bye, lemon pies. Thank you for tuning in, Jason. See you next week.
And how Alex is yawning over there is probably going to be not too long, and he's going to be nap time.
Oh, I can keep pushing through. I'm good. All right, so what other Bucs stuff do we have to talk about? I know Johnny was saying earlier, Tyler Johnson, presumably a hamstring. I believe it was, Johnny, if you can correct me on that. It was a leg injury. We'll go that far. The injuries are starting to pile up, and it's kind of worrisome.
Yeah, and it's only been like, 2.5, 3 weeks of training camp.
Yeah,
and like we've had Mike Evans having hamstring. We had Jensen. We've had Tristan Wirth now, and Tyler Johnson. Oh my God, we had a running back just a few days ago got put in an IR. I don't think that was Bernard. I can't think of remember the guy's name, but he's out, I think, for the season. We have not. I thought maybe we escaped the injury bug from last season. Nope, it seemed like it lingered on and got worse.
It's worse. Oh yeah, that was another one we forgot about. Zion McCollum was injured at camp today. That's a pretty big hit. He's been doing pretty well in camp so far. From everything I've heard, is he's showing up and competing fairly well. So if he misses any kind of time, that's rough. And Barner is the one you're thinking of there, Marty, the running back.
Yeah.
And Corey, I would move past J.C. Treader. I don't think you guys have the money for him.
No, we don't have the money anymore. We do not.
Zion's a hamstring. Okay. So it's kind of wait and see how bad it really is before you start to worry too much about that. But it's a lot of hamstring injuries you guys have had. A lot.
Mm-hmm. The Florida Heat's starting to get to them a little bit.
Yeah. It's tough to say because I was like, you guys need to get an inside practice facility. But then how do you get used to playing outside? Use it more, I mean. But then how do you get used to playing outside in that heat? Because you have it for the first couple months first month or two of the season.
Yeah, it kind of uses our advantage, but at what cost at this point?
Well, Fred said, suck up better win the job. Don't want to see another Bucs kicker wearing number 19.